Hi guys, and welcome to the show. I'm Lisa Ackberry, your hair doctor, and I'm really excited about today because we are continuing our book tour, book club, book journey, The Black Woman's Guide, to Beautiful Hair. And I'm just really excited, and I'm most excited about this part that we're going into now. We've started on the mind, if you've been following me, and we're going into this next part, which I've got to ask you guys to please just pray, open your mind, do whatever you need to do so that you can take in what I'm doing, because again, I'm not trying to be a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or any of those things. I am merely trying to tell you with a pure heart about some of the things that I have experienced with patients and people who are struggling with their hair. And so today we're going to look inside, and I'm going to read some of the things that I wrote, because I've just found over the years that many of at that time when I wrote this book, my clients or patients, I felt like their complaints and questions, they brought many of them to me. And after listening to thousands of women over a 20-year period, I realized something that they all had in common. None of the women really wanted to look inside for answers. They blamed everything, everybody else for hair and scalp problems. And I'm speaking a lot with women who feel like they've got the answer, like natural hair, the manageability issues, why we do so many protective styles, or why do we do so many twist out styles and different styles that give our hair a different feel, a different look, because we like it. But are we really controlling our hair? Are we protecting and preserving it? And those of you who are having hair and scalp problems, because of the tons of emails I get, I know people have them, I just think that you gotta look inside. You really gotta look inside. Let me tell you what I mean. The women who took some of the blame never really looked inside to find the answers. The answers were there all the time. They just needed a little help reaching inside to find them. Let me tell you what I found. I found that a lot of women had negative thoughts as it relates to their hair and scalp, and a lot of their actions. Now, you may be saying, well, I'm not negative. I'm a very positive person. I feel like I'm a positive person. But let me tell you what I looked at and how I define negative thoughts. Negative thoughts or actions, as I describe those, define those as wrong. You're thinking wrong, you're acting wrong as it relates to your hair. And you said, no. Well, how many times do you use a heated tool and your hair is dirty? Or how many times do you use a heated tool and because it's not straight enough, you keep going over and over again? This is one example. How many times do you just say, oh, I don't feel like shampooing, or I don't feel like conditioning, or I just want to wear this style up another extra week? Okay? Wrong. Incorrect. Out of order. Destructive. Even the potential for harm. So those are some of the things that I describe as negative as it relates to our hair. Negative and incorrect thoughts and habits that are embedded within will not allow you to solve your hair and scalp problems, whether you have scalp problems or hair problems or both. You must be conscious. A lot of times, and you just got to get deep with me today, you have to be conscious of the negative thoughts and of the habits that are causing your problems and preventing you from solving them. Many women go through a cycle of hair problems over and over again because they cannot think past, it's very important, the negative thoughts and habits that they have about their hair. You must get past that so you will find a way to be free, to succeed. Negative thoughts become habits. Poor hair care habits come from acquired negative thoughts and myths that become destructive. And then they're automatic. We just automatically do them. There is no room or pathway, and we're talking about in your mind, guys, for the correct and positive. So your mind must be completely cleansed of the negative thought about your hair. Cleansing the mind of all incorrect and negative thoughts will clear a pathway and make available space in your mind. Your mind is the battlefield. You hear people say you are what you think. You're only as successful as you can see and think that you are. And that's really true. I mean, I do my quiet time in the morning, and I speak life over my body, my day, my family, my coworkers, my team members. And you guys, because it's really important for us to have those thoughts, fill our head with those thoughts, the positive things. And we have to do the same thing as it relates to our hair. And this is important, because if you don't do it, you won't have a successful long-term longevity. A lot of people will say, how are you able to do your hair? I feel like I got a little partner. No, there you go. How are you able to do your hair every day and have complete control? How are you able to do that? People ask me that all the time. And wear a fro and not mat up and web up. It's because I first have learned to love my hair, and I've learned to learn about my hair, understand my hair, what my hair needs, and then I give it that every day. And then I know I have beautiful hair. And even if I alter it, whether I put a color in it or if I even go relax it, I'm okay with that. It's my hair, my choice, my decision, my thoughts, and I'm going to keep them positive. Let's talk about poor hair care habits and how it's second nature. Well, we are all creatures of habit. You've heard that before, and we know that. Habit is a function of our subconscious mind. We know that as well. You learn or become educated by consciously saying and then doing things over and over again until tracks are established in your subconscious mind. This is a habit in action. That's all it is. For example, when you say, I have bad, and the N word that I never use, nappy, hair that won't style, so I got my relaxer or pressed as straight as possible, your subconscious mind held on to that because you first said it and then you did it. If you say, well, my hair, I want to transition, but my hair is too, the new growth, and my other hair, my hair is too damaged, and my new growth is too inward. I don't use that word. I hate that word. And the only reason I do, because we think so negatively. I've never heard anybody say, oh, in a positive way. Now, what I am so excited about is I'm hearing more people use it in a positive way. But in the past, I had never heard that. We would always say nappy as something bad. You have bad hair. Well, a lot of people will put a weave on because they just won't. And I'm not saying that's not an option, but if they put a weave on because they just can't or won't manage their hair, well, you have to learn. That's why I said you have to learn how to manage. I have transition programs, and I have classes and workshops for women, and you're going to see more of that in the future on YouTube, because I really want you to know more about the steps in transitioning. You know, I did the Big Relax to teach you how to transition, and now I'm back natural. That was several years ago, and so a couple of years ago now. Wow, time passes fast. And so we gotta get into this. You felt correct and comfortable saying those things. Like it's no big deal to say, oh, I have nappy hair, or I have this hair. You never knew that a simple and common statement could lead to a serious hair problem. Think about it. You're planting seeds. Think about it the automatic action of your subconscious mind took over. I just had to stop and read that. Wow. The automatic action of your subconscious mind took over. It's been several years since I wrote this book. I'm real excited about it. And every time I read it, and I haven't read it for a while, I think about how blessed I was. And I tell many, and I don't know if I shared this with you guys, I felt like I was literally floating when I was writing some areas of this book. And the one on the mind I did because I know that the Holy Spirit was with me, because this is something that I just did not quite understand. And after researching for a while and then just pouring into and just starting to write, it's like the Holy Spirit just took over. So sometimes I'll pause and read some of the things. First, you told your mind that your hair was bad and nappy. As a black woman, we all know that that is a negative thing to say about anybody's hair. Then you physically went out and pressed or relaxed your hair as straight as possible, resulting, whether you knew it or not, in some level of chemical damage or heat damage. Because the relaxer, if it's straight as possible, it's over processed. If it's pressed or flat iron or whatever straight as possible, it's over processed. Two ways to over process the hair: through pressured heat, extensive overuse of pressured heat, and relaxers, chemicals. So relaxers is one of the leading chemicals that will cause it. So you don't want straight as possible. You want manageability. I know that you did not look at it this way, and I'm reading to you. I know you didn't look at it this way because you surely never meant to cause harm to your hair, but your lack of understanding of the dangers of the overuse of chemicals and heat on your strands did cause a problem. First, I will show you how to look inside and think more positively about your hair. For example, nappy, or as I like to call the hair, kinky hair, is not bad hair. It has more body, more bounce, more fullness, more shine, and it doesn't break unless you damage it. And think about how much better the scalp feels when the hair is not relaxed or pressed as straight as possible. Second, had you educated yourself, empowered yourself, you would have known that 100% removal of the curl pattern is not natural, and that's not good. And when you press as bone slick as possible, that is a problem with burning those top layers, which takes away your elasticity and causes all these problems. Wow, I know what you're thinking. How were you supposed to know all of this? I know. Had you known better, you would have done better. But the thing is, I'm going to read this because I want to make sure I get it, how I worded it when I wrote it. Had you known better, you would have never put into action such a negative thought, which caused a negative act. And that's the thing that we have to keep in mind. The way we think, the way will determine how we respond. The body will follow the mind. The mind is in control. But do you see how easy poor hair care habits become second nature? A mere reaction of your subconscious mind or your thinking. That's all it is. You can only think into action what is already in your mind. So it is your responsibility to have the correct thoughts through education before you act. And don't say that it is your stylist's responsibility. Those of you who are salon dependent. Remember, you are not to solely rely on anyone for the health of your hair. And don't worry, just relax. By the end of this whole book tour and book club, you'll be empowered to take responsibility. I'm going to be right there with you. And this is part of what I want to do, and the reason why I want to do this book club, because I want you to know I'm going to be right there with you. Why do you think we could never have better hair? Why do you feel like we're always struggling? And I know some of you said you made it, and I bless you. I thank God that you made it and you have healthier hair. But the amount of emails I get, thousands of emails every year, I know that there are people in trouble out there. So I'm speaking to you. Okay? Those of you who have this great hair, I'm happy for you, and this is wonderful. You've got the answer. But I can assure you, you're doing some things that are good for your hair. Okay? There are many reasons why we think and do negative things as it relates to our hair, causing hair and scalp problems. We will expose many of those things. We're going to talk about that as we cleanse the mind. But let's talk about your relationship with your hair, because I think that's crucial, because you have to have a relationship with your hair. I'm going to read some things that I wrote about that. Having a good and positive relationship with your hair has many benefits. Have many benefits. And is the key to having better hair. The way to do this is to make your hair problems personal. You have to. We know as a black woman that we have a history of political culture and professional issues that have been and are still hanging over our head as it relates to our hair. But in order to truly have better hair, we have to look at the personal, not the outside destruction that we put ourselves through. This personal destruction is blocking and preventing us as a race from having better hair. So let's make it personal. Learn about you, the person, then you can learn about this spiral thread-like substance, your hair. Coach is going to get deep today. I love you guys. Let's start by going back as far as you can remember to the first time you became aware of hair and how important it was to you as a girl. Remember your first doll and how her hair, and some of this maybe this applies to you, some don't, how her hair looked when you first got her. Your first impressions of how hair should be, and that's what it was, your first impressions. You probably got a small comb and a brush to use on her hair to keep it neat and in place. Remember, when you stopped playing with that doll for months, and later you found her under the bed or in the bottom of the toy box or the closet or somewhere, her hair looked out of place and messy, strands had fallen out. So you decided that you wouldn't worry about it because you would get a new doll the next holiday. You didn't want to play with her anymore. Her hair was messed up. You remember that? You said, since her hair is messed up, damaged, you would just shave it off and just let her wear a shortcut. Remember cutting your doll's hair? We all did it. Even then, although you were too young to realize it, you placed a thought in your mind that when the hair becomes damaged, you place thought in your mind that when it becomes damaged, you just cut it off and start over. You were too young to accept and take the blame for the damage and admit it was your responsibility. You're the one who threw her under the bed or in the closet or just didn't comb her hair. You allowed it to tangle up and mat and didn't shampoo it and didn't put your oils on it and didn't deep condition, and you did all that. But you were too young to do that, admit that. Forgetting the fact that the only reason your doll's hair began to look that way was because you stopped taking care of it. Clear and simple. Now, try to remember the first time you noticed your own hair in the mirror. Let's make it personal. You looked, you touched it, then you smiled and thought, this is my hair. Thank God for my beautiful hair. Or was it something very different? When you looked at your hair, when you look at your hair now in the mirror, what do you think of your hair? Do you think it's pretty? Or do you wonder why my hair is not like my friends or my sisters? Why? Maybe someone told you that you had bad hair in a roundabout way. I had a patient that happened to her. Her mom said she has bad hair, and my daughter has bad hair, and her daughter has bad hair. And I thought, no, stop saying that. There's no such thing as bad hair. Maybe you had an aunt, a sister, a grandmother, or even your own mother who told you that, as I say about their patients. Even the times you thought that your hair was looking good, maybe after it was just combed and styled, that seemed to always be in your mind. Excuse me, let me read this. They seem to always be in your mind what the thoughts that other people said about your hair. Things like, girl, you know you got that bad stuff. I don't know. We say that in girlfriend talk, and we can say this with our friends, but no, it's not good. I remember when I was growing up, and this is personal. We said it was going to be personal. I was growing up. My mom always made me feel good about my hair. She really did. I was really blessed in that area. And I feel like God was preparing me for something. Because if I had had my mom to say that, I may not be here right now sharing this way. I don't know. God can turn us around. She would water wave my hair, and she just made us feel good about our hair. She would dip it in a brush and water and brush it and grease it down, and she just did all kinds of things like that. Mama would never let us get our hair pressed until we reached a certain age. I remember begging to have my hair pressed like my older sisters, but she said, don't rush it. You have good hair. She always called it good hair. And pressing will eventually mess it up. And I have sisters that have extremely spiral hair, and I have spiral hair, but she called all of our hair good hair. My mama had 7 girls, and our hair always was neat and in place. Ribbons. Do we ribbons anymore? She took the time to make sure of that. She said her mom always told her she had bad hair, and it made her feel bad about herself. She told me she was so hurt that she prayed to God that she would have God, if she had girls, she was blessed to have girls, she would never make them feel bad about their hair. See what happens in that was just a beautiful thing. I thank God for Mama's prayers. I really do. I also thank God for blessing me with a mama that took so much time, that could take that negative experience that she had and turn it around and just use it to say, I would never let my girls go through that. I remember the first time my dad said something to the effect that one of my sisters had bad hair. Whew. He asked my mother, why is her hair not like the other sister's hair? My mama got mad at him and said this point blank, it's because her hair is different from her hair. Love you, Mama. And it's just the way it was. It's her, and she said that is nothing wrong with her hair. He never asked that question again. Although our hair varies, we all accept our hair. We all accepted our hair in a positive way. Even when, quote, nappy hair was mentioned, nobody felt really bad about it, even back then. But we never thought we had bad hair. And even today, as adults, when we have our Sunday family dinners at Mama's house, we sometimes talk and laugh about our hair combing days and the many things that Mama taught us about our hair. Mama would tell us how she knew, as she put it, the kind of hair each of her 7 girls had. She knew our hair. Thank God for Mama. I do. All right. Mama she not only never made us feel bad about her hair, she also would never allow anyone else to say anything negative about her girl's hair in her presence. What you got to do now is you got to thank God and then forgive. Thank God for the many moms that are blessed with the understanding and the importance of making their little girls feel good about their hair. If your mom, dad, aunt, or other family member consistently say negative things to you about your hair that make you feel bad about your hair, these things may have stuck with you and somehow led you to believe that something was wrong with your hair. You must understand that if someone said a negative thing to you or around you about your hair, then those things were most likely said to them as a child and are being passed on from generation to generation. So what I say to you is forgive. I love you guys. I'm Lisa Ackberry, your hair doctor. Next week, we're going to talk about who's to blame. Who's really to blame and what happened. We're also going to get into the beauty shop drop-offs. If you're dropping your kids off for these holidays and these special times, we're going to talk about that as well. I love you guys. To God be the glory in Jesus. I'm Lisa Ackberry, your hair doctor, and I'll see you next time as we continue to go through the Black Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair. Have a blessed, wonderful morning, evening, or night.